It has been a hot minute since I've been out in the workshop. Now, the last video that I took was a video that I've got going on in the background, which is the Arista. I've been ticking away with that. And that was 7 days ago. I haven't been out here for quite a while. I went and had my surgery, and I have been sitting inside on the couch for the last 7 days straight. And I haven't really done much. The only thing I've done is just watch tuning videos. So that's something that's going to be upcoming, which I need to do, which is street tune that Laurel. Pretty excited to do that. So that's good to learn. But yeah, it's time to finally get back into actually doing some work, because these engines are not going to build themselves. I finally have the RB30 all dressed up. I had my package arrive just the day before my surgery. So what they've done is I've cut straight down the middle and straight down the side. Got a bunch of titanium plates and screws in there, and I need to keep the weight off it. I can let it sit on the ground, but I definitely can't walk on it. Had the R35 GTR coil pack kit turn up. That looks so good in conjunction with the wrinkle red covers I pulled off the RB20 that is out of the GTS4. This thing looks so pretty. Makes it look like just such a much more complete motor when you look at it like that. BCT and all that, all those lines are done. I just need to check the end play or the end float or the crank float, whatever you call it, crank thrust, before I chuck the sump on. And in my last video that I did, I made a meal of the sump. I tried to do the fittings for it with a bulkhead style AN fitting, and it didn't work. Where the baffles are spot welded in, it's in the way, and it probably wasn't a seal anyway. So luckily I had Bill come and save the day at Van Ash Fab. That is his at right there. And he welded on some bungs for me that I ordered in. So I got a -8 fitting for my VCT drain and a -10 for the turbo drain. Now we are pretty much good to go. I welded them on. Those are just Aeroflow fittings. Not the best of quality, but weld on bungs or weld on bung. What I actually meant to say was it was a -8 for the VCT drain and a -10 for the head drain. The turbo drain is in the block. And he also welded up the head drain fitting. This is one from NZKW that we have had troubles with because they're a bit of a dicky size. The thread's just, it's a weird taper. It's annoying. So he simply just got a normal AN bolt on fitting and welded it straight on. That makes life a lot easier. And I can also get the plumbing that up. So that needs to be done. And like I said, I'll check the end play on the crank. And once I've 100% checked that, the sump is ready to go on. And then plumbing continues. And that is essentially this entire motor done and built finally. It is a bit of a shithouse day today. But I do need to do some power washing. So I probably should do that. Of course, this has metal dust all through it from when I was grinding it and when Bill's done some welding. And it is absolutely filthy anyway. I went and bought a brand new tube of 3-bond grey. That is the best sealant in the game. If you are not using 3-bond grey or an OEM equivalent RTV, you are doing it wrong. It is just what you got to do. Now, I had a tube of that quite a while ago. It's quite expensive, about $90 for a tube. And it got a pinhole in it, and it ended up turning into a brick. So that was a very sad bin throw, that one. I've also gone and purchased a unbelievable amount of stuff for the RB20. I've had that crank machined, which you would have seen in the front intro of the video. I've had everything turn up. I've had my head studs turn up. I've had my gaskets turn up. Everything is here for the RB20. Rings, bearings, all that. I've decided to go ACL race series bearings in this one because why not? It's a 20Det. I'm probably going to abuse it. It could do with some harder bearings. And this too does need a sump clean. It is full of bearing chunks. I managed to score a power washer. That was in one of the last videos I did where I said my one blew up, which it did. It burned out and stopped working. I managed to find a Karcher K4 on Marketplace for pretty cheap. Got them down even cheaper. So back in business in that department. I'm going to bomb these with oven cleaner as I do. Give them a power wash, let them dry, and then I will sand the sump down, the steel rear-wheel drive one, give it a coat of paint, and flick it on. Something to note with RB30s, only RB30 specifically, Now, in a rear-wheel drive RB steel pan, you have these 3 baffles. On an RB30, the crank stroke is actually too large, and it will hit these. Now, I'm sure if you want to start your motor up, it'll smash them down and move them, but you don't want to do that. We want to cut these down with a grinder, and we'll get rid of them. The reason those aren't cut is because that is not the sump that come off of this motor. It's actually down under the bench behind me because it was just so dirty and I couldn't be bothered dealing with it. So I grabbed the sump out of my spares box and used that, because I think there's about 4 or 5 of them there. And without blabbering on a bit longer, I will actually get into the sump because, well, I need to do it. I need to wire wheel all the old RTV off as well. And then, like I said, cut those baffles before I do my final clean, because obviously I'm going to just infect it with metal again. And yeah, once that's clean, give it a paint, we'll chuck it on, and this 30 is essentially a complete long block. I will just have to bolt the covers down. I've got some gaskets here, got some brand new bolts for it, and some billet washers to match the coils. This thing is going to look pretty flash, and then that's it, really. I've got to put the VCT drain on. The turbo drain I can't put on because I don't have a hot side. This is up to the buyer of the motor, what they want to do with it. And yeah, the head drain needs to be plumbed as well. And that is the first motor complete on the channel. I have gone and wire wheeled all the RTV off of the sump. I have cut the baffles out for the 30 stroke. I've given it an oven cleaner and a power wash. So I've just used that new Kasha for the first time. It's a K4.650. It's the older generation of the premium Kasha that's out now, but that thing is immaculate. It sprays so much better than the one that I had. It's got a gradual pressure increase as well, so it doesn't just bomb like 3,000 psi straight at the nozzle off the bat. Cleans so much nicer. So sounds to me like I've got a pretty good workshop edition under my belt. While I'm waiting for the sump to dry so I can give it a scuff up and a paint, and then obviously slap it on inevitably. Obviously you have to chuck the rear main housing and seal on first, but I'll get to that soon. While I'm waiting, I want to sort out the head drain. So I will do a brief thing on how to throw a head drain into an RB. It is very universal. Obviously there's a few different types of head drains. You have obviously an oil drain and a coolant drain. PRP does the double kit or a block off, or you can just have a single oil drain. There's heaps of different designs. You got one by Boostock, PRP do their own one, NZKW's got a China one. There's a heap of different ones, but it's all the exact same process. Panning over at my little pile of fittings here, I have actually realized I have forgotten to order some fittings. I need another 45-degree fitting, because I buy them and they come in pairs. So I get 2 0 degrees and 2 A&8s. This is the VCT drain. I have actually forgotten to get myself a 45-degree fitting for the head drain. That is pretty annoying. So looks like I'm gonna have to start ordering again and get one of these. And there was something else I needed, but I forgot what it was, so I guess it doesn't matter anyway. Either way, we'll get into it. The way these head drains work on RBs, or for this style at least here, is punching out this frost plug. Not this one here, this is for coolant. This one here is your oil. So obviously to get that out, I'm going to punch it out real quick, and then we'll go from there. You don't have to worry about losing this inside of the head. It can't really drop anywhere scary. It's only going to sit in these flat spots in here, and even if worst case, it'll just drop down and out the bottom anyway. But something I've never showed is the easiest way to get plugs out. I don't believe I've ever showed it. And that is just to grab it, try and pull it in the middle there, and all you're doing is then using leverage to pop it straight out. That is the simplest way to get frost plugs out. There should also be a little O-ring on your head drain. Doesn't matter what you buy, there will be one on there. Just want to remove it so you don't damage it. There you go. Keep it to the side, because when you put it in dry and you're slamming it in and out, pause, that will actually tear and rip. And if you don't have one the right size, well, you can't replace it. And then that is just as simple as grabbing this, which is the same OD as the ID. Pop it in, and then you want to figure out where you want to drill it. You have these 2 holes here, or in my case I do, where you want to drill this. And you have to be careful, because when you put a fitting on it, if you were to put this straight down and you put a 90-degree fitting on here, you probably won't have enough room to clear your gearbox, because this is where your gearbox sits. So you have to be very mindful of that. Usually the best way to do it is to put it over here like this and have a 45 degree, and then you have plenty of room. With a stroke of luck and a bit of remembrance, I've actually just remembered there was a 45 degree 10AN on Bill's motor on his 25. That was on the back there, of course, and he has replaced it because he wants a nice black fitting, which is understandable because red and blues for homos, don't use these. That is quite ideal because now, well, I can chuck it on and I can check my fitment to make sure I'm not going to have this running into the gearbox bell housing, because obviously you can only choose one. You either have your head drain on there or you have your gearbox on there, and you kind of need your gearbox more than your head drain. My application here with this specific head drain, now this is an NZKW one. This is where I got it from. It's actually Bill's. He gave this to me. Shot brother Bill. And with my 45 degree, this is the best place I can put it. You do have to very slightly slant it outwards because it does come close to the head, so be mindful of that as well. You can see my little air gap in there, and yeah, this is the best place for me to put this. So what I'm going to do is simply mark the inside of these holes, punch them, drill them, and tap them. Obviously don't need to show you how to draw a paint point on the back of the head and, well, punch it and drill it. So I will throw it on time lapse and get that done and show you the end result. Just gone ahead and drilled these holes. I started very small and I had to work up in 3 bits up to 5mm, because 5mm is what you need to tap an M6x1 hole. Now I tried to skip the very first tiny hole I used for a pilot and it bit me in the ass, so it walked over a little bit, and my fix for that is pretty simple, which is to just drill these out to 7mm from 6mm. So that little millimeter on each side should give me enough ample clearance to stick that straight in. I have gone and bought myself some new taps. I just had my M6 a second ago and I've already lost it. 1 second. There. So, yep, got my M6 tap and I've got my appropriate 5mm hole. Gonna tap my 5mm holes to M6 and that's it. Just gonna have to find some M6 bolts long enough, because you don't actually get any hardware with that head drain kit when you buy it. Thanks, NZKW. Here we go, we're all done. Obviously this isn't sitting where it needs to, but it's on. I haven't bolted it up just to test fit the holes. We are sweet. It has started raining, as you can definitely hear on the roof. It is pissing down and my grinder's outside. I better go grab that. Obviously wasn't too keen on drowning my brand new grinder that I literally bought 2 weeks ago. Just gonna grab that. Now, to fit this up, we want to seal these threads because I have drilled all the way through. And, well, we also don't want them backing out because you cannot access your head drain when your engine is in your car. Once it's on and you've installed your engine, that's it. If you want to do anything with your head drain, and that is take the fitting off the drain itself or take the drain out, you need to pull your engine out because there is no room between your firewall and your head. Put that off for a second. You also want to make sure this is plain in here. Usually you would do this when the head is off. You haven't actually assembled it yet, but I never had it. I've literally just received this now and I've already built the motor. So if you're doing it when your engine is assembled, make sure you are careful enough to remove everything in there. And then as simple as chucking some blue Loctite on your bolts. Put them in and they won't vibrate out. and this will also seal the threads. Perfect. And there you have it. That is a head drain installed on your RB to fix a problem that it literally shouldn't even have regardless. I should probably also mention, don't forget to put your O-ring back in your fitting. After you take it out, you want to put it around to check your fitment when you're drilling and tapping. Don't forget to put your O-ring in because it will leak and you will be taking your motor back out. And no one wants to do that. So, cool. Now it is pissing down as you can hear, so I can't go outside and paint my sump under the sunlight. It is going to be a tomorrow job. So unfortunately I can't fit the sump on tonight, but I do have peace of mind knowing that my crank end flow is absolutely dialed and I can fit the sump on and finish the build. The only thing I have to do is paint the covers. That is those shaved ones I did in a previous video. I'm not sure if I should paint them in wrinkle. I do quite like the wrinkles, seeing these 20 DET covers on here. So it's either going to be a nice vivid wrinkle colour or I will go 2K gloss black. Haven't decided yet. I have to look up my colour schemes. But, yeah. Well, as you can clearly see, it is the next day because we've got a lot more light in here and it's also not pissing down with rain. So I went inside last night because it's just too cold to bother doing anything, and I'd rather not sit out here in the cold because the shed does get super cold. Now, what I wanted to do before I put the sump on this RB30 is just double check my end float. Now, off the top of my head, the measurement should be, or the specs is 0.05 to 0.18, and the absolute service limit of 0.3. So I've just checked mine right now. I'll show it on camera how you do it. And right here, I have perfect clearance. Take a look at our gauge here. I have 0.07. Bit of a better view there, just so it's easier to read. Now that means I am free to put my sump on. I can chuck my oil pickup on and then the sump can go on. I do need to obviously put the rear main seal carrier on because that is not on, I don't believe. Nope, so I will have to do that. Yeah, now I've double checked that. I'm sweet to lock it up and not come back in there again. I would also like to double check Bill's 25 DET as well. Because like I said, I've only just bought the style indicator. I didn't get a chance to do it. It should be sweet, but there's no harm in double or triple checking your clearances. So yeah, I will set it up on the 25 DET here and do that as well. Of course, when you're checking this, you usually would do it as soon as you put the crank in, and your block is going to be upside down, so it's easier to look at and work with. But I will show you how you do it. Pull this out of here. And what we want to do is push the crank all the way back, right hard up against the front side of the thrust washer. Now, I have to film, of course, and I have one hand, so it's easy if I just hammer it in there, but usually we'd jam a screwdriver in there or a pry bar, lever it back, hold it, and zero it. But since I've just wedged it in there with a hammer, I've just tapped it in between the main brace gap and the crank. It is now preloaded all the way back. And what we're going to do is zero this. Just like that. So your dial is zeroed out. Now what you want to do is pull this out of here and flick it somewhere else. I'm just going to use the back section here between the back of the brace and the crank counterweight. And once that is tapped back in between the little brace gap, what that does is push this crank all the way forwards, pushing the dial needle, and I end up right there at 0.07. Simple as that. Now, I did actually fuck that up yesterday, but it didn't seem right. And when I looked at it, I just wasn't pushing hard enough. So now I've got my accurate measurement this time. And yeah, good to go. So I will take that off there, flick on the 25 and see what we can read out of that one. bit more of a mission with this one here, just because the sump's on and having to use this crowbar here. So I've had to just do it backwards so it is reading the opposite direction. But as we can see, we have 0.06, which once again, perfect. We are on the lower side of the limit. It's not like it's sitting at 0.17. We are sitting at 0.06 when the minimum is 0.05. We are damn near on blueprinting spec here for the absolute minimum. So that's lovely to see. I can, throw that 30 together, get that sump painted, get that out the way. It's all dry now, so I'll give it a scuff up and a spray. And then I'll probably get around to doing, I can't do the head drone fitting because I don't have a 45. So I'll have to leave it for there until I get my fittings to turn up. But yeah, other than that, that is bloody beautiful. I'll probably just dress up Bill's motor here because I have the timing covers and I've had my billet washers turn up, which is great. So might as well chuck that on. Better just get around to popping this motor upside down. I've got the sump outside. I've given it its first coat of paint. Now what I need to do is pull the loose things off this motor. So when I flip it over, they don't end up on the floor. So I'll pull the cam covers off because they're just sitting there. And the coil bracket can stay. Well, I'll take that off as well, actually. And then yeah, flip it over. We'll seal it up. And that's it. We are done with the long block. Something I've forgotten about. This is not my engine stand. I'm borrowing it because, well, I was down a stand. I've got 3 motors here. I don't know what you call them, the little spacer bits on the stand have been cut down. So I actually can't fit my rear main housing on to fit my sump on. So I'm gonna have to get the engine crane out, take the motor off the stand, take the stand bracket off, put the rear main on, put the bracket on, and put the engine back on. Bit of a pain in the ass, but gotta work with what you got. And that is what I mean. These have been cut down a good 25 mil. For some unknown reason, which means that it is extremely close to my block. It doesn't touch anywhere, but it's close. And I can't fit a rear main seal housing in between that tiny gap. So I have to whip the whole thing off, put the housing on, and then put it back on again. Right, I got it up. It's on the crane here, so I'll just whip that back, I don't know what you call it, pedestal off the engine stand bracket. Throw it on the time lapse, and yeah, we'll see how we go. I need to get a tripod. That is something I need to buy. I'm getting sick of like layering it up here on the toolbox. It's a pain in the ass. So get myself a tripod and get some new camera angles going, because currently, well, my videos suck. We are back upside down. There we go. Nice sight seeing that. Looks pretty. Paint marked everything. So we are coming to an end. The sump is about ready to go on. I'll go give it another coat of paint. And while I do that, I need to, while it's drying, I need to sort that pickup out. Well, turns out I won't be doing that pickup because I don't have an O-ring. I completely forgot to get some O-rings. So I might have to steal some off of Bob, old Bobby from Coilpacks Customs, and he'll sort me out. So for now, I've got it wrapped up here, as you can see, under a microfiber, and that's how it's gonna have to stay. I'm gonna wrap it up for this one, and I'll leave it there. Got a few things ticked off, and yeah. Next one, I will be running it back into that 20. Now I've got all my parts. It really comes down to me assembling it, me cleaning it, me measuring it, me doing it. Because I have everything here, so I am the only thing holding myself back. So that is what I will be cracking into next.